Welcome back, travelers, to Legendary Lore. You're welcome. I am Ricky. This is Joe. And we're talking about Jace. Hey, Joe, have anything to say about Jace? Cool. He's blue dubba dee dubba da. So, basically, what we're going to be talking about right now is Zendikar Rising, which is extremely recent as far as storyline is concerned. Kaldheim is probably in full swing at this point. But that said, Zendikar Rising. So basically, Nisa shows up and is like, hey, Jace, I got a problem. And he's like, what's your problem? She goes, Nahiri. And he's like, that sounds like a real problem. What's the problem? She has
Nisa picked her oath back up, by the way. You skipped that part.
The what?
Nisa picked her oath back up, by the way.
That
She's once again a member of the Gatewatch.
Yeah, she picked it back up during the whole thing with War of the Spark. There was a whole point where
Kaya.
Kaya did join the Gatewatch as well. Ironically, that doesn't matter at all for Jesus' story, sadly. Even though you think it should.
But you should mention the Gatewatch. That is his team.
That is a good point.
Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go.
Anyways,
Super Robot Monkey Team.
Monkey. So Jace then decides, okay, you know what? I'm going to go help you. We can talk about this. We'll just need to find Nahiri. We can stop her from using whatever bomb you're talking about, and we'll be good. This whole time, Jace is noticing that Nisa is like very agitated. She feels like nobody understands her kind of deal. He doesn't want to get in her brain because obviously he has that boundary, but he's kind of like feeling something bad's going to happen, and I don't want it to. I need to be here. And because at the same
basically
time,
just like, Nisa, something's wrong with you. She's like, yeah, you could find out, and just like, we're teammates.
Because you also have to remember, at this point, Nisa and Chandra officially broke up. They decided they weren't going to be able to get together because Chandra's into dudes like Gideon, and
you mean Nisa the dude she spent her whole story in this adventure rejecting for Nisa?
So basically,
I like dead guys.
I like dead guys. I'm a necromancer. That's what they call it. Anyways, Jason, Nisa, they show up, and this whole time Nisa's like, what would Gideon do? And they meet this person. By meet, I mean they see them falling from the sky. And they save her. It's Akiri and Akiri Toriyama. And Akiri then tells them, yeah, Nahiri is like, she's going to the Singing City, which if you go in there, you'll lose your entire mind. And Jesus is like, I've done that plenty of times. It's going to be fine. They go.
She's like, I haven't done that once or twice.
Nisa just bolts. She leaves Jace, and Jace is like, can you take me there? And she's like, I don't like planeswalkers. You guys don't even belong here. You can go anywhere. This is my home, and you guys are meddling in it. I do not like planeswalkers. And he's like, please, I'm a good guy. And she's like,
my name is Goku, and this is my home.
This is my home. So basically what happens is that he's trying to convince her, yeah, I'm a telepath, but I don't use it to rifle through people's minds. We will be fine. Just like let us through. And so she's like, okay, you know what? I need to find my friends Kaza and Aura. He goes, I can sense some minds like down the way. It's gonna be great. We can actually see. Like I know they're safe. They're not dead. You don't need to worry about it. Your other friend, the merfolk, he's super dead because he got turned to stone. But the other two, they're fine. And she's like, okay. He goes, let's go get it, Akiri. And so they go, and as they leave, Akiri's like, wait a minute, I never told him my name is Akiri. And she only realizes that later on. But basically the idea is that Jace got into her head and kind of convinced her that way. Because it is still Jace. So as they go...
But in this point, it wasn't really as sinister as it was in his past. It was just like, okay, this needs to get done. She needs to help herself. She needs to let me help her.
Pretty much.
I'm going to make her let me help her.
And that's kind of how it goes. So Jace and
Sounds
Jace
more like he's
gets
getting
there.
frustrated. Jace really sounds red-blue at this point. Like, he really sounds like he should be red-blue.
I don't think red-blue. I really do think that he could either be blue-white or blue-black. Because I'd see more blue-white because of the way that he's able to control himself, like control things and control himself. But I still think he's mono blue. mainly
I kind of
because
hope he meets up with Teferi later on, just like Teferi takes him on, like he gets a new mentor in Teferi.
But literally nothing he does is out of Blue's color pie, and that's really important for for Jace's character, is that he maintains the mono blue ideology. Even the way his romances work, it's not like he's overly passionate or anything like that. He doesn't let his emotions get the best of him. He recognizes what's best for everyone and all this stuff. So like he does fit the blue schema really well. Anyways, he gets into the Singing City. The Singing City is basically where all the rest of the story takes place, which isn't much. So he's in there, and the sounds of the things start swirling around him. It's like this maddening cacophony, and it starts to kind of like encroach on his mind, and he puts up walls, and he's like, I'm good. And so he's there. He finds Nahiri. She's overwhelmed by the music of the city, and he's able to save her as well with the spell he just designed. It's able to basically dampen the magic. And so the two of them begin to talk, and he understands that the reason Nahiri has the lithoform engine is because the lithoform engine is capable of returning Zendikar to its initial state before the royal. So from Nisa's perspective, Zendikar is beautiful. It's wild and it's free and it's able to grow as much as it wants. That's what perfection Nisa is. To Nahiri, she wants to make Zendikar great again. She thinks that if she gives enough hats to all of all the core, that they'll be able to bring the white creature power back up and like rise up. So from her perspective, the Jedi are evil, and she can just kill the royal, basically turn everything down, the mana down, way down low, so that they can build stable ground for everyone to build on, for the society to grow. She's about the development of the society, while Nisa's about maintaining the natural order. And so that's where that conflict is coming in.
And really, none of them sound right, none of them sound wrong.
Exactly. And there's a ton of opportunity here, because earlier they saw that the lithoform engine's effects caused this blight to grow all over the area where it was used, and it was like this corruption, it's darkness, and it's a different kind of corruption that Zendikar hasn't experienced yet. That said, Jace is talking to Nahiri, like I said, and he's like, you know what? We can talk to Nisa, we can figure this out, and if you want, I can take the core and study it. And I'll take it away from Zendikar, and you won't have to worry about it getting used improperly, and I'll be able to see how it works on Ravnica. And she's like, no, why would I do that? And then Nisa's there, she's like,
take the core and push it somewhere else.
But Nisa finds the engine instead, and she's going to destroy it with Ashaya and her elementals. And so that's happening, and Nisa's like, wait, Jace, you betrayed me. Why would you talk to Nahiri? We just need to get rid of this thing. It's dangerous. And so that's happening. Jace, Nahiri, Nisa, none of them are on the same page. Jace is trying to figure out what to do, and he can't do it. He's trying to control each of their minds. He's trying to get through to them. Nisa's getting angrier at him because he won't listen to her, and she's trying to do what he needs to. He tries to tell Nisa that he'll take it to Ravnica. She's saying you're just meddling some more. It's just a bunch of arguing and really cool fight sequences, and Nisa gets the core because Ashaya is able to take it from Jace, and she has the core, and as she's holding it, it speaks to her. Now, when an ancient artifact starts speaking to you, what is that a sign of, Joe?
Insanity?
It's either insanity or whatever's in the what?
Or a curse.
Or a curse. Artifacts are cursed. That's what these things are supposed to be like. But no, we got to subvert your expectations this one time and not be super predictable. This artifact happens to be a fragment of Zendikar's soul. Oh, Zendikar's soul, which Nisa can speak to. How nice. And so she reaches into it, deep into it, and she's able to unlock its potential, and she's able to heal Zendikar of literally all of its wounds and cause everything to go hunky-dory, because Nisa was right the entire time, and Zendikar needed to be a big garden.
I don't like it.
I hate this ending so much, because yeah, you're healing all the scars caused by the Eldrazi, basically as if the Eldrazi were never there, even though the Eldrazi were the best part of Zendikar. Nisa feels betrayed by Jace, so she doesn't trust him anymore. He picks up the inert core, and Nahiri's gone too because she's upset.
Weird.
So like all of this happens, and Nahiri, she's upset because the thing's useless now. It's a useless rock. Nisa got what she wanted. Turns out she was right the entire time.
And yeah, that's the whole thing. It just like invalidates basically any conflict there. Just like neither of them are wrong, except Nahiri, because Nisa can talk to the thing and confirm that canonically Nahiri is wrong.
And what's worse is how short the basically told everything that happens in the story. Usually, like a lot of these things, I've cut out bits and bobs. But
because I didn't even paraphrase any of it. I actually added some sentences.
There were a few things I embellished a little bit. Yeah, sure. But what's important is the fact that it was so short. This feels like the moment where something should have happened. This is what chewing five gum tastes like. It's like
basically it's just like, okay, the Eldrazi are gone. We can have an actual Zendikar story now.
Yeah,
wasn't that good?
And there was this
We're just going to set up the D&D set. Bye, guys.
Yeah, but there's this corruption. And the corruption is caused by the lithiform engine. What was that about? What was happening there? I'm hoping that it was Phyrexian oil. And that just means that the Phyrexians have their seed planted across the entirety of Zendikar. That would be interesting. Because it would be a new threat. And it would make what Nisa did a really bad idea. I hold out hope that is what is actually happening. Because
and we hold out hope for Theros to be a good story.
It's true. We did theorize about what Theros is going to be.
We didn't really have any expectations for Ikoria. It was just the big monster set.
Yeah, Ikoria was like, oh, Godzilla, yay. I bought into it. It was cool.
It was a nice gimmick, but yeah, it wasn't really expected for story.
It does have some bits. It has some things for Vivian. Vivian's another character we could talk about. I have a lot to say about Vivian. Similar to Quain. I don't like Vivian. But that said, I don't want blue. Jace appears to have some kind of thing going on with Kaldheim. If by this point, by the time this episode is released, the Kaldheim story has something with Jace happening, we'll just record a real quick blurb and attach it to this one, maybe. Unless it's a big enough chunk of information, we'll talk about what Jace did there.
Or we could just release the Kaldheim story right after this.
Smart lad. We'll talk about Kaldheim.
Everything will come together.
Episode. Yeah, really smart idea. Good lad. Very good lad. Very good. You're a very smart man. But yeah.
Meantime, we hope you guys enjoyed what was out of Jace. It was actually a really entertaining story. We never really found out who was the true Bane of Balaged, but it's okay because we made some friends along the way, and we lost one because Nisa now hates Jace. But it's okay.
Lost one? What about Gideon?
No, he died. That doesn't count. He's still friends.
What about Vraska?
Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know who you want to find out about next time. And leave a like if you don't like wizards destroying all our good stories.
Oh, this is going to have a ton of likes if that's the case.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, go ahead and ring that notification bell so you can know when we're going to do our next Legendary Lore.
Fantastic.
I bet it was me. I bet I was the true Bane of Balaged.